Hey, God of mercy. It is quite it is quite not surprising. I'm not surprised that the orange man can actually come out and say there are not enough talented people in America. A whole sitting president, the father of the nation, took to a live show, blah blah blah. And instead of talking about the most important thing and what can actually take American back to where it was or move them forward to a good destination, he was solely concerned on the fact that Americans do not have enough talent. I'm sorry, that is what I heard. I don't know. Probably you heard something else, but maybe when you watch this clip, you are going to understand where I am coming from. Recall that this man actually did something like ZDHB, I correct me in the comment section, visa, blah, 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 where you literally need to also pay. There was another outlet that you need to pay like $250 if you want to do like a tourist, blah, blah, blah. It's just a whole lot that this man started with this year. And instead of trying to correct it, since he has come out publicly to be like, oh, all the illegal immigrants, make it legal, come back to the country, come and do the job. He went this particular way, and of which a lot of Americans did not really find this funny. But anyways, let me allow you guys to watch so that you guys let me know what you think. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, and share. With that being said, let's roll the clips.
If you know somebody who is MAGA, you know somebody that's still on the Trump train, you got a cousin or an uncle or an aunt or somebody that's got Trump merch, they got more Trump merch than they have like baby pictures of their own children and shit like that, or they got tattoos of Trump on them, send them this video when I'm done. And before I begin, I didn't say it. I didn't misconstrue it. I'm playing it as he said it. The way he said it to Laura fucking Ingram. You know what I mean? MAGA, before I begin, I just got one question. Is your mans? Hey, pimpin'. Is your mans? That's your mans? Is this your mans?
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
We have plenty of talented people
no, you
here.
Don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
when you and I were
I'll give you an
up.
example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years.
In the most fimblefuck way imaginable, Donald Trump just told his own fucking supporters, y'all are too stupid to do these jobs. You need them illegals, as y'all like to call them. The man said to y'all out loud, dog. Laura Ingraham asked him straight up, we don't have skilled people here? He said, no, you don't. Is that your man? Yo! But he love y'all, right? 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 He calls y'all poorly educated to your face. You still love him. He tells you they need these H-1Bs that you hate so fucking much because, quite frankly, your ass has been on an unemployment line for 5 years and you don't have the skills to do what these motherfuckers need to do. He shits on the fact that that dumb bitch, Torn Labrum, called the motherfucking ICE agents on that plant in the South Korean Hyundai plant because all those people were setting up and they were bringing in $10 billion of investment and you dumb motherfuckers fucked that up. Hey, yo, MAGA, that's your man? MAGA, hey, pimpin', MAGA, that's your man? Look over there and look on the screen, That's your man? That's your man's? He wasn't talking to me. I didn't like the motherfucker anyway. I don't have a problem with H-1Bs or whatever. I don't care. He wasn't talking to me, he was talking to your dumb asses. You see, Silicon Valley does not need you mouth-breathing motherfuckers. You who have 6 teeth fighting for motherfuckers with 6 yachts. Silicon Valley doesn't need you. They don't. They can't do shit with you. You can't even clean up the goddamn bathrooms in Silicon Valley. But what they do need are H-1B visa holders. So they can basically lord their fucking job over the top of their head like, you can't leave, yeah. You motherfucking Americans, y'all are uneducated and y'all ask for things like, I don't know, breaks or, a livable wage. How many times is this motherfucker gonna fucking say this shit to y'all before y'all believe it? How many more times? Like at this point, goddamn, come on. Come on, Stockholm Syndrome, bitch. Stockholm Syndrome. He said that to y'all. He said it to me. He said it to y'all. Go back and watch it. And if you got a MAGA family member or a MAGA friend that still thinks that motherfucker's in love with them and cares about them, even though he shits in a gold toilet and they barely have a toilet, send this to them. This shit is straight comedy, dog.
H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
We have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
Let's hear what the vice president has to say.
I make a couple points about this. First of all, I've heard a lot of the criticisms, the fear that we're going to have a brain drain. If you go back to the 50s and 60s, the American space program, the program that was the first to put a human being on the surface of the moon, was built by American citizens, some German and Jewish scientists who had come over during World War II, but mostly by American.
So a few months ago, the vice president said we have talent. He was using the platform to push immigration. Now the president said there's no talent. We need H-1B. So is this the end of MAGA? Is MAGA officially over?
Bad random thought, and I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but I genuinely want to see America burn. Like, I've been thinking about that lately. I genuinely want to see America burn. I don't know why. I think it was probably because I was watching some political shows last night. And it wasn't just Scandal, it was another show, I forgot the name of it. Nonetheless, I think it was Madam Secretary. Anyway, yeah. And I'm Black American, right? Shout out to us. I have a whole family. I'm here and everything, but I genuinely want to see America burn. Like, I want to see the entire government, completely removed, desecrated. And I want it to be done by 2 specific groups of people. I know that the numbers may not be on our side by technicality, but I definitely wanted to see it done by any means necessary. I don't care how it has to get done. Literally. I really don't. But I genuinely want to see, the Native American community and the Black American community have a conversation, because we are the most interconnected communities out here in America. We have the most history in this land. We have the most understanding of the people that is actually running the country, unfortunately, right now. The settlers, the colonizers. I want us to have that roundtable talk. I want us to, we have some of the most connection, biology-wise, when it comes to how we've intermingled, forced and or other. Yeah. And it's not to act like we're the best of friends. And it's not to act like we're the best of allies for each other. I would love to see the Native American community and the Black American community have a roundtable talk to discuss our problems, how we have harmed each other, how the distress in our history, also the beauty of our history, because it's a very, very complicated history and relationship. And when this country burns, I dead ass only want to see two people run it. I want I'm gonna stop calling them Native, indigenous people. I want them and Black American people to split the land. Just that simple. Nobody else. There is no other say. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just that simple. One, because the indigenous people were here first, it's their land. Two, because this whole entire country of America is run off of the labor of Black American people. And y'all walk, talk, and are like us. You eat like us. You enjoy our music. All this shit, right? It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not up for debate. It would be just said like that. I want to see the indigenous tribes, all of them, come together, okay, and have a discussion. And we split the land. This is your land. This is side of America. Is your side of America. This is our land. This is our side of America. I want us to have treaties to understand that we are not going to disrespect each other's portions. I want us to have peace treaties in the sense of if anybody tries to bother the indigenous people's tribe, indigenous tribes in their lands of America, that we will all naturally form an army together. I want us to, talk about trading with each other when necessary on the same lands. All of that is necessary, right? You don't bother us. You run your government the way that you run your government. I run my government the way that I run my government. This is my side of America. This is your side of America. When necessary, we defend each other because we are one nation. You know what I'm saying? We are not going to do stuff like that. We trade with each other with things as necessary. Everybody's citizens and stuff respect each other's other bylaws and stuff like that. And leave it as that. Nobody has to leave America if you don't want to leave America. But ultimately, it really wouldn't matter what anybody thinks about it, because you no longer have the American imperialistic empire to destabilize and cause dysfunction in your homeland. So if you want to stay here, fine. If you want to go back, you can go back home and live comfortably and freely and peacefully, and know that nobody is messing with you, because that's not how Black American people rule and operate. And that's not how indigenous people move and operate. That works for you too. Yeah. That sounds like such a beautiful thing, don't you think? Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I would love for that to happen. I wonder exactly what it would take for that to happen. But that was just my random thought for today.
We have some big news right now. A rift is emerging this evening between MAGA and Trump, as MAGA is not happy after Donald Trump, during a Laura Ingraham interview, said that America essentially doesn't have enough talented people.
In an interview with Laura Ingraham, Donald Trump now advocates for DEI hiring. He says that we must keep the H-1B visa because in a country of 330 million Americans, we don't have enough skilled Americans to work high-skilled jobs. We must keep the H-1B visa and bring in immigrants from other countries to work these high-skilled jobs because in a country of 330 million Americans, we don't have enough highly intelligent, highly skilled Americans to do those jobs. So we need DEI labor. This guy and his messaging always contradicts. You can never settle on anything that Donald Trump says, because he's going to find a way to be his own worst enemy. He's going to find a way to contradict himself. First, he says that DEI is the problem that we have in America, and that all people other than straight white men only got their jobs because they're trying to fill a quota. Now he's saying we need that diversity, that equity, and that inclusion, because Americans themselves, the great country that is, the light standing on the hill,
we don't have the requisite knowledge. So we need diversity. We need minds from other countries outside of America. And he's not talking about Europeans. He's talking about the East and the Far East. Those brown-skinned individuals. He needs those individuals to come and rescue the Americans, because the Americans don't have the requisite skills and knowledge to do the job. So we have to keep the H-1B visa. MAGA, are you seeing it yet? Are you seeing it yet? You can't trust this man, because he's always going to contradict himself.
Well, the MAGA base might be finally waking up to see who Donald Trump actually is. He's trying to encourage H-1B visas to bring in talent from outside the country. He did an interview with Laura Ingraham, and Laura Ingraham said, well, we already have enough talented people in the United States. He says, we don't have talented people. Then he went on to list the stuff that we're not talented at, batteries included. But he's talking about, this was last week, talking about bringing in 600,000 Chinese nationals into our country because we need that type of intellectual support. No, we don't. What we need is colleges and universities that he's not fucking around with, so that way they can actually teach our kids how to learn and how to use critical thinking. Instead, he's trying to tell them what they can and can't talk about. So next time when you're a MAGA and you go to vote, remember, Donald Trump doesn't have faith in you because you don't have talent. He said it.
I mean, the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration, because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
You know, it's ironic. Whenever I criticize Trump, a lot of my followers and Trump supporters get pissed at me because they're like, you sound like a liberal, you sound like a liberal. If this is not the most liberal shit I can think somebody to say, that we need more immigrants because Americans aren't talented, like, does that not sound like some shit a liberal will say? I'm sorry, how is that America first? Y'all got me fucked up if y'all think I'm not going to keep calling this out just because Trump is y'all's favorite daddy. Like, nah, this shit ain't right. I think it's important that if you would have criticized Biden for something, that you have to criticize Trump the same way.
Why is MAGA mad with Donald Trump right now? Well, let's talk about it. It all goes back to those H-1B visas. Now, remember a couple of months ago, Donald Trump said, we don't need H-1B visas, right? Because remember, they raided the plant in Georgia, right? So, the Hyundai plant. So, he said, we don't need H-1B visa workers because we have workers here that can do these jobs. Fast forward to now, Trump is changing his tune again. Now, Trump says we need H-1B visas in America. Why? Because we can't find the talent here. That's what he said. And quiet as kept, I agree with him. There's no way you're going to find that type of talent in that knuckle-dragging world of MAGA. It's impossible. It would require education. MAGA thinks education is woke. So it's no damn way they're going to qualify for high-skilled jobs like that. And quiet as kept, I ain't surprised, because the same people who thought 5G towers were mind control machines, they're not going to be qualified for high-skilled tech jobs. If America were a toolbox, right, H-1B visa holders would be like the precision instruments in there. And MAGA would be like that rusty butter knife you use to open paint cans. You know, it's there, but it's not built for the job. You get me? So they're mad, but Trump did not lie. He just reminded them that made in America doesn't mean qualified in America. And deep down, these people know they're not qualified. They just don't like hearing the truth from a man that they built a shrine for.
Donald Trump said that we need to have more H-1B visas because we lack talented people for certain jobs in the United States. The H-1B came from the Immigration Act of 1990, designed to bring highly specialized knowledge into the United States. So the actual text of the policy supports bringing in people within a specialty occupation, fashion models of distinguished merit and ability, and certain workers performing services for the Department of Defense, now called the Department of War. So there are about 730,000 H-1B visa holders in the United States currently, and about 500,000 of their wives and children, sometimes husbands and children. But you know, when people were talking about this issue, which has gotten a lot of attention across social media, some people brought up, you know, during World War II, we had previously untrained females who became part of the Army Corps of Engineers and built basically a lot of the industrial base for World War II. So how could it be that we just can't train the people in America to do the work that America needs to get done in order to achieve our aims of being basically industrially self-sufficient. I think that's a pretty good argument. I mean, we have a clear historical precedent of Americans stepping up to take care of our country. So do we really need people with these other certain talents to fill our jobs domestically? Or has the H-1B visa program become something that has actually taken away a lot of job opportunities from, for example, younger people? 730,000 jobs is a lot of jobs, and a lot of those jobs are the kinds of jobs that college grads from America would get. This chart shows you that over time, the percent of young people who are married and with a home by the time they're 30, wow, it went from about 50% in 1950 down to less than 10 today. And I was a technical recruiter, so I know that a lot of the H-1B visa activity is not bringing in specialty workers with highly specialized skills. It's actually bringing in relatively junior people by recruiters who actually skim off their salaries and underpay these people. And the data proves this out. You can see that the median pay for a technical lead, if they're not an H-1B holder, is about $190,000. If they hold an H-1B, $95,000. This is across pretty much all of these technical positions. You can basically pay an H-1B visa holder a lot less than you can pay an American. And when you look at the companies that actually use...
Oh, watch this.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no, you
here.
don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, "I'm going to put you into a factory. We're going to make missiles," or "I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well, let me
when you and I were growing up.
America first, am I right? You heard it straight from his mouth. We don't have talented people in the United States of America, or at least not people talented enough to make complicated things like, batteries. Now, he admittedly is not my favorite person. We all know this. But I actually think this will shock some of his supporters, or at least it should. Because what do you mean we don't have talented people here? You don't think we have people here in the United States who have the intelligence and the talent to be able to work in manufacturing of things like batteries? We don't grow those kind of folks here in the United States. That's what you're saying. Coming from the same administration who is like waging a war against higher education, more or less right now. Talking about how we don't need so many highly educated individuals in this nation. It's like we were saying the whole time, and here it is, as plain as can be. This is not somebody who cares about Americans. This is somebody who cares about the bottom lines for corporate billionaire buddies. The end. See, these companies are not going to want to have to pay more for the American workers. They're not wanting to raise wages because then that means they have to cut into their own salaries and the salaries of their board members and their investors and so forth. So they want to keep going with this H-1B visa because then, of course, they can pay folks from other countries less, still get that kind of talent, and they don't have to cut into their bottom line. And Trump, the billionaire businessman, is thinking like a billionaire businessman because he's bought and paid for by those people. It's honestly kind of sad because I think people really did believe he was going to try and put power back in the hands of the everyday American. But that writing was on the wall. We could see it. The American workers are simply pawns in a game. That is it. There is no value, apparently, in his opinion, to the American worker. We don't have talent. We don't have folks who are intelligent enough to do these kinds of jobs. We have to farm in talent from elsewhere in this world because there's just nobody in the United States intelligent enough to, make batteries. And he says later in this interview, you can't just pull somebody off of an unemployment line who's been unemployed for 5 years and then tell them to make batteries. Tell me you don't understand how things in the real world work without telling me you don't understand.
Check this out. He can't ever tell the truth to his followers because he has to constantly validate what their belief system is. Now, this is their own creation, you understand. This all started back in January 22nd, 2017. That's the day Kellyanne Conway introduced alternative facts into the lexicon. Remember what that one was about, right? The inauguration crowd size. So from day one, they've been setting up this alternative reality so that if they ever say the truth, their followers lose their minds. What he's saying is objectively true. Yes, of course, American companies took advantage of it, but the reason for the H-1B visa was because we have a shortage of those type of workers. This is going to get wild, folks, especially with the stuff coming out in the emails.
That is all I got for this particular video. No, you don't have talent. Even when the host is trying to tell him, we have enough talented people, he said, no, we don't. We don't have talent. We need to bring in talented people. So who are these talented people? The so-called immigrants, illegal immigrants that he literally used his own law to chase them out. He imported or brought a new law of the V1 visa or something like that. There are a lot of people in the country, which is in America, that currently do not have jobs. There are a lot of people in America that have a lot of talent. In fact, that have enough experience. But getting that particular job that would pay them, they are not seeing it. Even when they are so qualified for this job. I've literally seen a man that said he submitted over 3,000 CVs. Over 3,000. Not even up to 20 persons called him for interview. None of them responded to him. This is a man that has the talent. He's an American citizen. He has experience of over how many years in the field. But nobody is literally calling him. And this orange man, we sit there and say, no, we have to bring talented people. So who are the talented people? I don't know. This is why a lot of countries find it very, very easy to insult Americans. I'm sorry to say. This is why it is very easy for you to see any country come up here and be like, is in America, where the sitting president can open his mouth and say they need talented people, where you have millions of people that are out of jobs, millions of people that even if you think they don't have talent, you can train them. You can train them on this. Because one thing I believe on is every single job have to be trained. Once you train people, people will know how to do it. But instead of fixing the mess, no, sir. Talented people must have to come in. Talented people must have to be brought. Talented people must have to come to make things easy. And at the end of the day, you still have this, your eyes, people whooping and chasing people east, west, north, and south. A lot of things that are supposed to be discussed on a podcast, but they will ignore all of those things. Ignore all of the crying babies. Ignore every single thing that is supposed to make America great as their sole target to be. And at the end of the day, they will start blaming black folks. Yeah, black folks are lazy. They don't want to do the job. Americans are lazy. They don't want to do the job. They don't want to do it. They just want to just sit at home, cross their hand, where they are Americans that are going street by street, house by house in search of a job. But my own father, the honorable president, is looking for talented people. Come take Sonia as talented as I am. And I saw this clip, I was like, no. This is going south and north. To be honest. It has gotten to that point where somebody needs to help this orange man, sit him down, and then educate him on some certain things. It has gotten to that point whereby they don't just necessarily need to just leave him to just dictate or do things. Because look at the way things is going. You should know that something is wrong somewhere and someone needs to help somebody. Anyways, who am I? Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do a lot in my videos. I'm going to be simple, and I'll see you guys in my next one.